Okay, so today we're going to be speaking about the missing children epidemic in the USA because this is an issue that we definitely need to discuss. Now, according to the National Conference of State Legislators, NCSL, they estimate between 1.5 million to 2.6 million children and adolescents run away each year, even though 360,000 children are reported missing to the FBI National Crime Information Centers. I believe that a lot of people need to be investigated, including the parents, including the people on Discord, because a lot of people knew about their relationship, and this is an issue that we have to discuss because children are children, and children should be allowed to grow up children, and children should be allowed to grow up in an environment where they will be protected. Children's minds are not developed until they're older, until they're an adult. And so it is up to us as an adult to make sure that we're steering our children in the right direction. If you are not guiding your child in the right way, then of course your child is going to be lost. If you're not a good parent, if you're not involved in your child's life, if you're not involved in knowing where your child is, that is an issue. Now, there's another crime such as this one where Naziah Harris, she was 13 years old when she disappeared in January. And this is another case where the custodians are also being questioned and criticized for the upbringing of Naziah, because it seems like Naziah was allowed to be around people that were purposely hurting her. And instead of people being adults and making sure that this child is protected, they allowed this man, Jarvis Butts, to be around Naziah. Now, there's already another man that people are questioning because he also has a crime record. Allegedly. And there was a video with him and Naziah. And there is just a lot of weirdness going on with her case. Naziah's body has not been found, but there is enough evidence to build a case against Jarvis Butts. He is accused of inappropriate relationships with Naziah, but also her unaliving. They think that he abused her before the year 2022. Not only that, but Jarvis Butts is also charged with hurting two other girls in a separate case. And it seems that he befriended certain women in order to get to their daughters. His pretrial hearing is on September 17th. Now, there are text messages that show Jarvis Butts knew that Naziah Harris was pregnant. He had searched antifreeze, abortion pill, and abortion. And the grandma didn't report it until January 10th, which was the following day. She went missing on January 9th. What saddens me is that black girls ages 11 through 21 are 4 times more likely to go missing than white girls ages 11 through 21. And this is an epidemic that we're not discussing enough about. And clearly there's a lot of dysfunction within many communities. And the simple fact that we're not looking into all of these missing children, that is a huge red flag, something that we have to address immediately. 59% of all missing children are persons of color. Native Americans are also heavily targeted due to the 1978 Supreme Court ruling in the case of Elephant versus Suquamish tribe. Now, this ruling denied tribal courts to prosecute non-native for most crimes, including drug trafficking. The drug epidemic that is going on in America is affecting all Americans, but specifically Native Americans, due to Native Americans not being allowed to prosecute non-natives. So Latinos who are involved in the drug cartel, they could be Native American descendant through DNA. However, due to American laws, they're not included in the Native American community. So natives cannot prosecute non-natives, including Latinos. even though Latinos do have Native DNA, which is just something that is horrible and we need to discuss. Because of this ruling, 2013, Native American women were given permission to prosecute non-Native men included in domestic violence cases. But obviously, there were restrictions, like the non-Native American men had to have some residential ties to the native land or some work permits tied to the native land. And finally, in 2022, they gave Native American women the rights to prosecute non-natives for harassment, assault, stalking, child abuse, and trafficking. And so before then, they couldn't prosecute non-Native American people. But even in 2022, when they were giving this permission, there were still many restrictions. Like, Native Americans have to fund the abuser's lawyers. They also have to fund the judge. They have to find the judge. The judge has to have certain qualifications. They have to get a jury. Native Americans shouldn't have to go through all of these loopholes in order to prosecute a non-Native American. That's ridiculous, especially since Native Americans are Americans. And in 2025, they still cannot prosecute a non-Native American for homicide, and they have to rely on federal or state government to prosecute people. Now, 3.5% of missing persons in the National Missing Unidentified Persons systems were Indigenous people, even though they represent 1.3% of the population. Canada studies show that Indigenous women in Canada are 400% more likely to go missing than other Canadians. In 2021 of October, the National Congress of American Indians declared that violence against Indigenous women has reached new levels. And I haven't even gotten into Latinos and how Latinos are also affected. People who support open borders, people who support illegal immigration, just understand that the cost is women being, children being trafficked. The drug trafficking also affects not just North Americans, but also Latin Americans, because a lot of the violence is affecting Indigenous people in Latino communities due to all of this drug wars. And obviously, this drug epidemic is also affecting Native Americans in North America. It's affecting many, many communities, all because we want to support illegal immigration, which is not helping anything in Latin America. It's only making things worse. There's a lot of sexism in Latin America that we don't even discuss. And even when it comes to the missing numbers, there is not good data because a lot of people don't know how to categorize Latinos. A lot of Latinos are categorized under the white population. There's not enough data showing the true numbers of Latino women, children going missing. I really don't want Celeste and her story, or Nazaria Harris and their story, to just be another trend. I want people to actually care, because these are real issues affecting us. Acting like there's no dysfunction going on in our communities is going to only continue to make certain things worse, because we're not talking about it. We're not showing light about the real issues that are affecting our communities. And missing children, that is a real issue that we should definitely prioritize. A lot of these victims are occurring because they are close to people who are failing them, and that is what we have to address.